The 5th Combat Communications Group was activated as a 5th Mobile Communications Group on 1 July 1964. Based on that nomenclature, the group is still affectionately referred to as the 5th Mob. The group has been assigned to Robins Air Force Base since its activation. Today, the 5th Mob is more than 700 airmen strong and is tasked to train, deploy, and deliver communications, air traffic control, and landing systems for dominant combat operations. Members of the group operate complex networks and infrastructure equipment, providing mission-critical voice and high-speed data communications to deployed warfighters. As a self-supporting combat unit, the group provides its own site security, electrical power, and vehicle maintenance. Since the group's combat support mission in the Dominican Republic in 1965, the 5th Mob has supplied humanitarian relief and direct support to wartime operations in Vietnam, Brazil, Puerto Rico, Panama, Egypt, the Azores, Honduras, Grenada, Saudi Arabia, Somalia, Cuba, Kuwait, Bahrain, Oman, Turkey, Qatar, Kurdistan, Pakistan, the United Arab Emirates, Horn of Africa, Iraq, the United Kingdom, the Mississippi Gulf Coast, Joplin, Missouri, and most recently, Afghanistan, Jordan, and Belize. Hi, I'm Senior Master Sergeant Ryan Landrum of the 5th Combat Communications Group. This is a story of the last 50 years of the 5th Mob, told by the airmen who've made it the greatest large communications unit in the United States Air Force.
When I got here, I was looking, I knew it was a new outfit. They told me that. So I was looking for where they were located. So I stopped in a little World War II building in the south end of the base. Walked in and there was a major and a captain standing there. And I said, I'm looking for the 5th Mobile Comm Group. They said, you're looking at it. So I was the third guy here. Our first major piece of equipment was an MRN-12 mobile control tower. It was painted orange and white, checkered. Of course, they repainted it later. We used that van to kind of launch the 5th, and the colonel's secretary, cute little redhead as I recall, christened it with a bottle of champagne, and that started the 5th. So they had to adapt. Mob is a completely unique group, really different. Well, you have to deploy and live in tents, sometimes not air conditioned, generators running outside your tent, and it's a hard life. But all the feedback I'm getting on the website that the alumni has is that was the best years, the best assignment they've ever had. Although some of them said they didn't know it at the time.
After combat survival school in November of 1969, I was deployed to Vietnam, and I checked in at Da Nang Air Force Base and was reassigned with the 101st Airborne Division out of Fort Eagle, a little bit north of Phu Bai, and about 20 miles from the DMZ. We worked off of generators there. The command post that we were at was underground. We'd go in there, we had a separate room for the communications. Usually the 101st Airborne, say a sergeant, would come in, give us the coordinates of the friendlies. We would plot it on a map, and then they would let us know what the targets are going to be. We forwarded that to the ODUS pilots, and in turn they set the smoke down, let them know where the targets was, and then we would coordinate with the fighter pilots that would come in. We worked not only with Air Force fighter pilots, but also Navy.
This was one of the most unique units that I'd ever been assigned to. Even my father was in the military for 28 years, and I'd never seen anything like this within the Air Force family. and I really wanted to be a part of it. Quick Reaction Package, which was at that time just transferring from Talking Bird to QRCF, and then later became the QRP, which is a Quick Reaction Package. It was a 17-man team, 7 different AFSCs. We were supposed to maintain and operate a air base for at least 72 hours, including food, fuel, ammunition, our own facilities for living. And by leaving and then coming back to the Quick Reaction Package, I could see where it had advanced, its capabilities had advanced, and also the personnel seemed to have really grasped a knowledge on the mission of the QRP, and they felt honored by being a part of the QRP. It was more of a brotherhood, sisterhood.
Normally when we hear all the lights and the bells and the whistles go off of a flash message, it's during an exercise. Well, that particular night that I was out there, these lights and bells and everything lit up, and I saw all the operators jump up and race into the van from what we'd only practiced before as a flash message. Now this flash message was in there. Come to find out, it was the flash message that General Schwarzkopf had sent out transitioning the Operation Desert Shield into Desert Storm. So I was actually in the 39 van when that message came through. Well, as soon as I got kicked out of the van, once that flash message came in, I got to read it and kind of said, wow, this is going on. Went down to what we called our 27 van and ran into who we called Psycho. Everybody knows Psycho, Sergeant Kern, and said, hey, you got a clearance just like me, buddy, but hey, all you know what's getting ready to break loose, so get ready. Took our maintenance vehicle and headed back out to Escon Village and ran right over to my buddy George Broussard's villa and told him the same thing. I said, man, get your stuff together. I said, because it's all getting ready to break loose. I said, get your gear together. I said, this is for real. We're going to war for real.
16th of January of 1991, I was the night shift supervisor, and General Horner and General Buster Glosson came in, and they had a message to send out. And they had it on a disc, and he said, I need to make sure everybody gets this message. And once it's sent, I need you to delete it out of your system. So I knew it was a very important message, so we sent it out, and I asked General what we just did. He said, you just started a war. And I said, well, what are we going to do now? And he said, well, I'm going to go back and to my office, and I'm going to watch CNN. And in a few minutes, when the aircraft get into Baghdad, they should knock out the CNN tower, and CNN should go off the air if the mission goes as planned.
I was a radio maintenance guy, and so my job was to go out and set up an HF network for everyone to talk back to headquarters. But they told us, hey man, everything it's about to hit the fan. It's starting tonight. We're like, yeah, whatever. So we turn on CNN because that's where we got most of our information from, was CNN. Sure enough, early in the morning, I mean it was early, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. It was called Al Cars, now it's called PSAT, Prince Sultan Air Base. Man, it was just wave and wave and wave of F-16s, F-15s, British Tornadoes, just every plane that was available. It was just, they were all in blackout. You could just hear them, just going overhead for hours and hours. And we're like, oh, what's going on? And we turned on CNN, and sure enough, bombs over Baghdad started that night.
Here I can say that we are a huge part of that. When I returned to the 5th Mob, I was a member of the 51st, and that was back in, I think, 2001. When I came back to the 5th Mob, became a member of the 51st, I had just left the tour of duty over in USAP. I was a program manager for the headquarters there. And coming back to the 5th Mob was exciting for me because I got to return to where I consider home now. And I got to be a member of the 5th Mob again. And so joining up in the 51st was a new experience, and we were just kind of gearing up for Saddam Hussein's dealings in Southwest Asia. So there was a lot going on at the time, a lot of excitement, a lot of anxiety, because a lot of folks knew what that meant. We were going to war. So shortly after I arrived, we started kind of re-gearing, reposturing ourselves, making sure that we'd be ready to go downrange if we got the call. And it was quite sudden. We had known for a few months that something was building, but it wasn't until about December time frame that we decided that, hey, we got to go on standby. Leaves are going to be canceled. We're going to be ready to go. we're going to be getting a call at some point, so just be prepared to go. But we ended up going to a forward deployed location. It's still sensitive, but primarily our mission was to kind of set up an air base to allow for aircraft to arrive and potentially do flyovers and start dropping munitions.
Well, I came from J-Stars. Coming from J-Stars was like coming from the penthouse to the outhouse. In J-Stars, I had a laptop, a cell phone, office window, an office with a big window, new furniture. Came here to the mob, had a small office with a garbage can, a pencil, and an eraser. At that time, General Cotton, then Colonel Cotton, put together a team of personnel from different units. So I was put in charge. I was the superintendent. Basically, it was a lot of cats and dogs from across the group. We ponied up about 100 some personnel, some guards, some reserves. Went to LUD, stayed there for a couple of weeks, and we just started bringing all our people in. And we opened up Kirkuk Air Base in northern Iraq. Took 100 plus some people in, and my proudest moment is that I brought everybody back safely and unharmed. I think you have 99.99% of the people here are proud of what they do, are proud of this unit, and is willing to meet any challenge head on, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the sacrifices they have to make. I think a mobster is a person that embraces core values 24/7, 365.
Initially we had Come To Me service. With the Come To Me service, as soon as people found out about it, and I don't know how the word got out, we had tanks, 5 tons, deuce and a halves, personal vehicles. We had people coming in as far as Baghdad. I mean, they were coming from everywhere just to make a phone call because they had been there for days, weeks, months, been sleeping in the river and hadn't been able to contact home. Nobody even knew they were alive. And these were all stories that they were telling us while they were coming up there. And it spread like wildfire.
But in 2009, ISR Task Force identified a need for more ISR in Afghanistan. So they developed manned aircraft, the MC-12s, for full motion video to provide battlefield commanders with better situational awareness of what's happening. From the time boots hit the ground at the actual FOBs, it didn't take long to get the equipment up. Probably a week to get all of the grounding grids in, finding the actual site of where the relay node was going to sit. I would say it probably only took a week or two to get the comm systems up after boots hit the ground. The 5th Combat Comm provided the initial push the setup of all of the exploitation cells and relay nodes. Air Force ISR Agency, they were actually charged with setting up all of the ground systems. ACC was tasked with setting up getting all the aircraft over there and manning the aircraft. Due to the short notice and getting this ISR over there in a short time frame, the 5th Mob's presence and expertise was critical to get these systems on the ground by late fall of 2009. It was all the 5th Mob professionalism that got the job done.
And let me tell you, that anticipation, that expectation of the mob, of the combat comm community was huge. It's world renowned. This is a group of individuals, of warriors that are tight-knit, that are dedicated to excellence, that'll overcome any challenge, and they're warriors. So that was the expectation I had going in, and the mob met that expectation and exceeded it.
So the guys that we have here, men and women, the rest of the Air Force is missing out because we do have the best. I just don't see this caliber of airmen anywhere except for the 5th. And I firmly believe that because I see it every day. You know, I see it every day when I look at, when I go out to the sites and see what you guys are doing in the sites. At the exercises, I get to see awards packages. I get to go around and talk to people and see what they're doing and just the brilliance that I see every day. So, I'm pretty confident that this group is going to survive a very, very, very long time.
5th Mob! Let's go! 5th Mob! Let's go! 5th Mob! Let's go! Dismissed!